Planner Training Session 6, using views and plan display. Okay, so in this session we're going to look a little bit more at how we can manipulate the display of the plan and its task information, and also how we can use views to help us do that. So, one of the key things we're interested in here, or one of the first things that we might want to finish off from our task, is showing some milestones. Here we have a special sort of task which has 0 duration. We can see that here, there's 0 days duration in it, and it's displayed as a diamond, as a milestone. Very easy to set up. You simply come in here and add a new task. And we give it a 0 duration. So we're going to have it following on after one of our other tasks. So let's put it right at the end of the project, like that. And we can make it 1 day here, or we can either make it 0 days here from the one that's offered to us, or we can use set as milestone here, which will set it to 0 automatically. And we can see that all the way down here. So that's showing now as a milestone. So pretty straightforward to do, and actually they add quite a lot of value when we're looking at them. Here we can just see there's a particular thing going on, and we can also filter and change the display to sometimes just show milestones. So if we set milestones up for particular meetings or invoice deadlines or things of that type, contractual milestones that we need to find, then we can filter and, as I say, change display for those quite easily. Okay, so that was the last part of the task side, and then let's have a look at the display settings. So there'll be a few things you'll see in here around timescale and around colours of things. So we've got some tasks that are particularly different colour, and we can change the colour of the task quite easily by clicking into the particular task and forcing a different colour on it. So I can make this one green, for example, and that's now going to show up here in the task itself, and also in its task data as well. Now this was actually filled with blue because we are showing a percentage complete as a fill across the task, but the outline part of it is showing in the green. Here we have a task which is obviously showing orange. It has no percentage complete, and therefore we can see it completely in orange. We can do exactly the same with the summaries as well if we want to. We can come in here and change the colour of the summaries. So we can make that one a whatever that colour is. So we've changed the colour of that summary, and that can just help give some emphasis to particular parts of the plan that we are interested in. Now, in terms of timescale, that's often very interesting. This plan isn't happening over a particularly long period of time, and therefore our auto date range is particularly useful in that it zooms the plan in so that you can see the whole plan over on the screen. So if we added more and more tasks, it would make the tasks we have smaller and smaller so we can see the whole thing. But at some point there, we start to lose clarity about the week boundaries and what's going on here and there, and we want to be able to see some more detail about that, in which case we can use the ribbon here, Plan Date Range, and we can come off our auto date range that we have currently, and we then have the ability to reset the plan to particular things we have selected. So if I reset to the current task, we'll see it takes the current task, which in this case is a summary, and that's quite a neat way of doing it. I now see that summary and its appropriate tasks within it and in the same time range, nicely focused out, and I can then use pan left, pan right to move through the periods of the plan. You see the little dots here shows when a task has started before or ended after the period we're looking at, and zoom in and out if I want to go for further detail or less detail, like that. And I can also have this quite neat thing to pan to the start of a particular task. So if we're very zoomed in, which is often the case, and I've got a particular task here, I want to go back to the start of it, I can use pan to the start, and it'll center the plan on the start of that task. That's quite nice, and of course we have a big reset so we can come back to where we were before. And of course, as our export option takes the current settings, it's going to take those timescale settings with it on the export. Now actually sometimes we want to change the display of days and work days and weekends that we've got here, or what the time scale is that we're using across the top, and that's all done as part of the broader set of display settings which are available to us in our what we're now calling the view. So the view controls a whole load of things here. Here's my views tab on the ribbon. Now I can either have preset views, which I can simply go and select, so we have a whole set of them here that are built in, shipped as standard with the application to help you get to things quickly, and we can have ones we actually choose to save, and these are then shipped with the plan, so you can put preferred views into your plan that are appropriate for this particular project, and they will then be provided to other people that open the plan up. So if I want to see all overdue tasks, it'll go away and run a set of changes which show me just the overdue tasks. It's focused in on the timescale. It's only showing those tasks that are overdue, the rest are hidden away using a filter, and it's changed the columns that I'm seeing so that I can see something that's particularly relevant to the fact that they're overdue, so it's bringing percentage complete up to the front, for example. So that's a nice and easy way to access a whole range of different sort of data. So as we talked about milestones earlier, if I want to just go and see milestones and summaries, I can do that. So I don't see the individual tasks, I just want to see broadly where we are with the project, with its main areas of activity, and in particular milestones, things that we've identified as being important that we want to be reaching on by certain dates. So these views are very useful, and they obviously change quite a lot, we can see here, in terms of what we see and how it's presented to us. And therefore let's go off and have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So if I come in here to edit view, we can see it's got my current view open for me, and in fact that's always shown to me up here. We can see that the plan has 40 tasks. We're currently in the view milestone and summaries only, which is therefore showing us a filtered set of 13 tasks. So we have some tasks that are not displayed here. Now this view form controls everything that we're seeing there. We see that we could be switching on and off the plan task, the top level task 0, in this case it's switched off. We could be adding IDs in here. We're indenting tasks, we can see that's running. We're showing progress bars against tasks, we can see that's running there. And we're showing predecessors where that's appropriate. So for example, if we start making some changes here, we can and press apply, we can see those taking effect behind the screen here. So I've now changed that view, and in fact we can see now we've got an asterisk showing up here showing me that I've changed the view. It's not the standard view for milestones and summaries, it's now been edited a little bit further. We can see we've got potentially a sort item running here, currently on none, but I could sort these by anything I want to do. Actual cost, I'm going to do an ascending sort of actual cost and apply those, and therefore it's going to juggle around my tasks. And using this sort of approach, and in fact as we come on to talk about the filter as well on the next tab, we can see that although we mostly think of Planner as a plan, you know, it's displaying a sequential, linked, related set of tasks in the way that Microsoft Project and many other planning applications do, it can go far beyond that in terms of filtering and allowing you to manage it as a collection of tasks and looking for particular different things of priority rather than when these things are happening in relation to what other tasks. So we can also have here showing summary task rules, so we can take out summary tasks or always show summary tasks, or show them where they are selected by the other rules, which would be the auto setting. As I come here into filter, you'll see I've got some filters, and I'm running a filter which is staying milestones only, and it's running a filter which just looks for milestones. Colours, again I can set the default colours associated with this particular view, what colour progress bars are going to be. I can colour tasks a certain colour when they reach a certain percentage complete, and we have obviously milestones, tasks and summary bar colours, so we can have them forced in from this view, and we can also reset those in the customizing of that here. So we can override the task-specific colours that we looked at setting earlier on in this tour. Display columns here as well, so we can switch on and off the columns that we want to see, and we saw that earlier in our cost display. It went to just cost ones, didn't bother with many of the others, so we can switch on and off the ones that we want, and we can also read from the current view the arrangement. So here we can't swap the order of them around, but we can swap the order by dragging and dropping. If we close this form down, come back into the form and read it again from the current view, so we can save this view later if we wanted to. We also have here the Gantt chart attribute, so we can include or modify what's included here as the Gantt chart attribute. So we've got duration currently, but I could go and put on here perhaps the resource initials. Of course, we've got summary tasks here, so there probably won't be anything to see. We've got one on that milestone. And we can also change here things like the date range. So here we talked about earlier, manually forcing the date range if we want to, or using one of those standard arrangements we saw earlier. And we can change the display interval. So currently it's on weeks, and we can see that we've got working days and weekends displaying, but we could move that to hours, days, months or years, depending on the size and scale of our plan. So a whole lot of things here that we can change. We've changed a few there, and I can simply press OK. And we'll come back and see that's our changed plan, and we're working with that. If I wanted to go away and save it, I could do that further, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. Filters are a key part of this, and from here you can quickly switch the filter on and off. So when you're running in a view, often you're on a subset of tasks, as we can see here. This is what this is indicating. We're missing 27 of our tasks. If I put that back on, we can see we've got all of them, and so no filter applied. So very easy to actually change quite radically what you see of as your plan. When we think of our normal plan, and we can see that very easily by just flipping back to the default view here, and we're straight back into normal plan mode. What we categorize as a Gantt chart planning tool type display, but then we can very quickly say flip that into something really quite radically different. It can be filtering and searching for a whole range of different aspects. Okay, so we're going to pause this tour at that point, and we're going to go on and run a separate tour in a minute about actually customizing and saving your own views and working within that in a little bit more detail. Thank you.